meeting of the Culver Redevelopment Commission to order. I guess I'll do the roll call. Erica James.
Here.
Sally Rochelle.
I'm here.
Marty Osterban here. Sarah Jones is not here. And Jenny Monroe is not here. Okay, we do have a quorum though, and legal notice meeting, so we'll go forward. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're gonna make some adjustments to the agenda, and I'm
Yes.
gonna ask Sally to walk us through what we're gonna do here.
And, well, I can pull it up on here, I think.
I think what we wanted to do is include two other facade grants in the,
Kathy, okay. Karen, is your door open?
Yeah.
I was just gonna run through the mailbox and get the two. If you want to just grab those out of my mail,
so we're gonna,
if you want to just grab the two facade grants in my mailbox.
this is how we always handle our meetings. We're very organized.
Yeah. We
So
had
so
an
they-
application for
right.
two
Yeah,
facade grants, one from the VFW and one from Katie from Culver Cottage.
right.
And we just need to add those.
Add
'cause
those to
they
the agenda.
Inadvertently got left off.
Okay, so we'll put those under the new business. And what I'm gonna recommend is that we go to new business first, right after we approve the minutes. Thank you. In view of the presenters tonight, we'll let you guys go forward first, okay? So do we need a motion to amend the agenda as such? Normally we would,
Yeah,
right?
we probably would. should.
Okay. So I'm going to entertain a motion to add two side grants to the agenda and also to do new business first, right after the reading of the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
I
Aye. Okay, so let's go to new business then, and train depot repairs, Mike.
Yeah.
Annette?
Yes, we're just looking more for information than anything else. The depot needs a new roof. It is at least 20 years old. And we've lost some shingles. We've had some interior damage from that. We got a quote from A&M in Plymouth for a discounted rate. And we're just wondering whether this is something that your committee would fund or whether we need to look elsewhere for funding to get the job done.
Well, there's two ways to look at that. I mean, the town owns that, actually owns the building.
Yes.
The lease that was signed by the Lions back in 85 and again, somewhere in between. And the last one was
In 15.
in 15.
Mhm.
Says that you'll maintain the building. However, I think we could probably consider that.
Is there, when you have responsibility under the lease to maintain the building, is there like a fund that you maintain for maintenance on the building?
Basically from what our rental fees are.
Okay.
But there's no amount that's gonna cover the roof.
Yeah, And-
I mean, that's just basically
normally,
normal maintenance that we do on the building.
normally for a facade grant or, we ask for two prices.
Right,
So if you haven't got two, don't say out loud
Okay.
what theirs is, because we're
Everybody
live.
knows.
Yeah, we're live. So,
Yeah, and I understand the town council is going to consider the matter at their meeting on the 11th.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is it
So what you're
pouring-
saying is you need a new roof and you don't have the dollars in the
Right.
kitty to do it. All right.
Do you have the
Where we-
dollars
where
for-
the dollars may be and who we need to approach.
Would you have enough for, say, 50% of it? Because,
The matching.
yeah, because normally that's what the the CRC does.
Now,
And
could we ask for that 50% from another entity? Or does that have to come from our pockets?
no, you just have to match it. How you match it is your business.
Okay,
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the town council's money
Yeah,
that could be
right.
used to match it.
Right. And, you're welcome to go to the town council and see if they, want to put the whole roof on.
Okay.
I don't know that they will, funds are tight all the way around,
right.
both in the town and in township and in, volunteer organizations and everything else. So.
Yeah.
And, for the CRC, we normally ask for the facade grant to be filled out, but since it's a volunteer organization or a nonprofit, we normally then just call it a grant rather than a facade grant because you're not a business. But it follows basically the same rules.
Right, well, we started the process and then, but we get more information before we,
Right, yeah. But I would say since actually the town of Culver owns it, we're a commission made up from the council and, appointed by the council that they could make the first decision and
Yeah.
worst
Yeah,
case.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
The facade grant program, I'm just talking out loud, right? So the facade grant program is designed to assist the businesses in becoming more, competitive and attractive, right? The redevelopment commission, handling of the tax increment district dollars, right? So the tax dollars generated by the businesses in the tips is to be deployed in the interests of those businesses, right? So we need to be able to make the argument that improving a building that we own does that. I got to make sure that we're on solid ground. Going to a nonprofit is not an issue. We've done that before.
Yeah, and we have one tonight, a request tonight from
Yeah.
BFW, so.
And I
it's
would
not
say,
unheard of. but-
excuse me. And I would say that at least my general disposition is one of gratitude toward the Lions and all you do, for the community and particularly in maintaining that building. So I think, we'll approach the discussions positively and see what we can do.
Yeah.
so
We raised over about $80,000 to refurbish that thing, when we took it on, and, that was a lot of pancakes, coffee, breakfast.
Yeah.
And ask Dan Adams.
Yeah.
That's good job.
All right.
So approach the town council first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
see what their answer is and then go from there.
Yeah,
And their next meeting is
July 11th, right.
July 11th, yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's what we'll do.
Is it patched to the point where it's not pouring in?
Well, they've got it, a tarp on it, and it
Okay.
can be holding, it's not any more damage. It's in the kitchen area where we've lost some plaster.
Yeah.
So. Get that fixed, and I really don't want to start that until we get the leak fixed.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah, we're not able to give money for work that's already commenced before the awarding of the money.
Right.
And we do need, generally speaking, competitive bids.
Yeah.
So if we're going to fit this within the guidelines of the facade grant program, those would be constraints that we would ask you to observe. If if you've got an issue, an emergency issue, then then we could have an emergency meeting or something like that, of the redevelopment commission. You just keep us up to date, okay?
It
Thank you
start
very
leaking
much.
again, put tarp on the tarp, or
Yeah,
tar on the tarp.
Okay. Good to see you.
thank you.
Thank you. And we do appreciate what you do.
All right, why don't we just stay with facade grants? Katie, how you doing?
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Well, Katie sent in a facade grant request that I sent on to everyone. And the total cost of your project was $15,078. And that includes that was the lowest bid, was it not?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. She had one estimate at 23,430 and a second estimate at 15,078.66. That basically was for upkeep, painting, power washing, and painting.
Yeah,
The
it was
building.
due for paint. We bought the place 7 years ago, but we did the first facade grant, pandemic hit, so we didn't have the money to be able to, but yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't happen. So we're gonna start getting rotted woods.
Right, I understand. So is there any discussion on?
Not by me, only to provide context. I think we're at 48,309 in spend so far this year on facade grants. We typically have budgeted in the past 90 total.
Right.
So we're halfway through the year, so we're kind of, I guess, on track, for that. I just want to point out our total discretionary spend that we had available to us at the beginning of the year is 194,000. That's not as much as we normally have. So we're watching our pennies. But this seems like it falls four square within the program. And
Yes.
I have no concerns about it. Erica,
I would agree.
so why don't we entertain a motion for the Culver bed and breakfast facade grant application?
I'll make a motion to approve the 50% of or low bid, which was 15,078.
All right. You, Erica. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? There would be no one to oppose.
You
After
can
all three
call
of
them,
us saying
tell them
yes,
to
so,
start.
so we're good. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
All right, what else you got, Sally?
Well, the other one is for the VFW, which is, nonprofit. And they had two bids for a new roof. One was for quotes for a new roof, and one was for 29,913, either 13 or 1726. And the second one was for 17,000. So obviously 17,000 is lower than 29,900 something. So like to assist them in fixing their roof and give them the 50% of the 17,000.
So question, as a nonprofit, do they pay property taxes into the TIF?
I think they pay property taxes, but I don't think they pay sales tax.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't,
churches.
I don't know if they're in the tip, are they? Kevin, can you see the map? Oh, I thought you could see it from your chair.
No, not at that angle.
It's, it was the one right next to you though.
Yes, they are. They are not.
They are not in the tip, yeah. So they are not contributing.
I do know that we've had several that weren't in the TIF that we,
So the argument would be that they support the businesses in the town with their lunch and beverage service.
Yeah.
Okay. And on the basis of that, we have a recommendation to do it. Okay. I'll entertain that motion then.
I'll second it.
I will move to approve half the little bit.
17,000, is there a specific number or is it just?
It would be, it said 17,000 even.
Okay, 17,000 even.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right,
So it would be 15% of that.
okay.
And
All right, so we have a motion by Erica, we have a second by Sally. All in favor? Aye. No opposed. Okay, so the VFW is gonna get 50% of $17,000 for their roof. Okay. And
my
that,
mind wasn't working a moment ago.
all right,
And I used to get A's in math.
all right, that is it for the side grant discussions. But we can stay with new business. I guess I need your authority to sign a letter to the overlapping taxing districts. You'll recall our discussion last November, or November 20th, where we presented to them. And we talked about our planned projects with infrastructure improvements, the facade grants, the Culver Town Park, the remote worker attraction that we were supporting through the Main Street organization, the visitor center support. And also that we were contemplating supporting the Dunes Housing Project, which since November we have moved forward on. So, so for that reason, there was no excess TIF money to pass along to the overlapping taxing units. That was our conclusion then. That remains our conclusion today. If you, at least in my opinion, if you agree with that, then I'll entertain a motion to sign a letter and send it to the overlapping taxing unit saying we have no money for them.
To approve the writing of the letter
Okay,
And for him to sign it.
and for you to sign it.
okay. Terrific.
I'll second that.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Got that? Did I do that right? Wonderful. Is the letter in here? Right. Oh, wonderful. Oh, there's multiple letters, right?
You just sign two.
Okay. Okay, fastest pen in the west. Thank you. Check out. Okay. Now we have a resolution to discuss about participation electronically in the redevelopment commission meetings. And I guess for the record, I'm going to read that resolution.
Add that this is kind of a template resolution, so if there are items in that that you want to change, now would be the time to do so.
Which I did, actually.
You already made changes?
I did
Okay,
to the template that you sent me.
okay. Do you have a
I didn't
copy?
send it to you yet, but
Because I was gonna say, if you had a copy, I could ask you that.
yeah, I can share it with you. It needs a signature block before I send it though. So I'll do that at the end of the meeting. Let's do that, if that's okay. All right. So the Town of Culver, Indiana Redevelopment Commission Resolution number 1 of 2024.
So,
Okay, we have to figure out which resolution number this is for this year. It's a resolution establishing the policy by which members of the Culver Redevelopment Commission may participate by electronic means of communication. Whereas Public Law 88/2021, Section 5 amended Indiana Code 5-14-1.5-1, effective April 20th, 21, by amending another Indiana code. I'm not going to go through the actual numbers. Prescribe new requirements by which members of the governing body of a public agency or political subdivision may participate in a meeting by electronic means of communication. Whereas a member of the governing body may participate by any means of communication that allows all the participating members of the governing body to simultaneously communicate with each other. And except for a meeting that's an executive session, allows the public to simultaneously attend and observe the meeting. Whereas the act requires the governing body to adopt a written policy establishing the procedures that apply to a member's participation in a meeting by electronic means of communication. They adopt procedures that are more restrictive than the procedures established by the Indiana Code. And whereas the governing body, Culver Town Council, has already passed this resolution, now therefore it be resolved that the Redevelopment Commission, the Town of Culver, Indiana, Section 1A, the provisions of the act, including definitions, apply to this resolution. B, the resolution shall be known as the electronic meetings policy of the Redevelopment Commission. That applies to the Redevelopment Commission and any committee appointed directly by this Redevelopment Commission or its presiding officer. Section 2A, subject to sections 3 and 5, any member may participate in a meeting by any electronic means of communication that 1, allows all participating members of the governing body to simultaneously communicate with each other, and 2, other than a meeting that is an executive session, allows the public to simultaneously attend and observe the meeting. A member who participates by electronic means of communication shall be considered present for purposes of establishing a quorum and may participate in final action only if the member can be seen and heard. All votes taken during a meeting by which at least one member participates by electronic means of communication must be taken by roll call vote. All right, Section 3A, at least 50% of the members must be physically present at a meeting by which a member will participate in means of electronic communication. Not more than 50% of the members may participate by an electronic means of communication at that same meeting. B, a member may not attend more than 50% of the meetings in a calendar year by an electronic means of communication, unless the member's electronic participation is due to either military service, illness, or a medical condition, death of a relative, or an emergency that involving actual or threatened injury to persons or property. A member may attend 2 consecutive meetings by electronic communication. A member must attend in person at least 1 meeting between sets of meetings that the member attends by electronic communication, unless the member's absence is due to the aforementioned 4 exceptions. Section 4, the minutes or memoranda of a meeting at which any member participates by electronic means of communication must identify the member who was physically present at the meeting, participated in the meeting by electronic means of communication, and C, was absent And 2, identify the electronic means of communication by which A, members participated in the meeting, and B, members of the public attended and observed the meeting if the meeting was not an executive session. We're almost to the finish line, folks. Section 5, no member of the council may participate by means of electronic communication or meeting at which the council may take final action to 1, adopt a budget, 2, make a reduction in personnel, C, initiate a referendum, 4, impose or increase a fee, 5, impose or increase a penalty, 6, exercise the power, well, we don't have the power of eminent domain, so that'll be scratched. 7, establish, impose, raise, or renew a tax. Section 6, if an emergency is declared by the governor or the town council president, members are not required to be physically present for a meeting until the emergency is terminated. Members may participate in a meeting by any means of communication, provided that 1, at least a quorum of the members participate in the meeting by means of electronic communication or in person. 2, the public may simultaneously attend and observe the meeting unless the meeting is an executive session. 3, the minutes or memoranda of the meeting must comply with section 4 of this resolution. And C, all votes taken during a meeting, at least at which at least one member participates by an electronic means of communication, must be taken by roll call vote. Section 7, this resolution shall be effective from and after adoption by this Redevelopment Commission and in compliance with Illinois or Indiana Code 36-5-2-10, adopted this 27th day of June 2024. I have a motion to approve this resolution as read.
With your deletion of.
The non-applicable language
Right.
for eminent domain and taxing
Yeah,
power.
which would be under section 5, 6, and 7.
Okay,
You would have fixed the 2 places where you read council instead of commission.
yeah, I'm gonna have to do a find and replace on that. Thank you, Kevin.
Those changes.
All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Oh,
Aye. Okay. We can now legally participate by electronic means within these guidelines. Thank you, everyone. No, that was probably, I have to say, I'm very impressed at your ability to stay awake through all that, reading. Okay.
they're just both good at looking like they're awake.
All right.
The lady is coming.
Yeah. Books on tape, huh? All right. So let's get back up then to the top and talk about approval of the minutes from the May 23rd, 2024 meeting. We all received a copy of those minutes, had an opportunity to review them.
They look fine to me, and I'll make a motion to approve them.
Right, all in favor of approving the minutes from the May 23rd, 2024 meeting as proposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Let's talk about the financial report from Karen. We've got $4,008.66 in claims. They're all related to the visitor center. They include envelopes and printing associated with what I'm presuming is the Lake Fest fireworks donation requests that went out. There's also advertising in Plein Air magazine for the Plein Air event. And then there's advertising in the Lakes magazine for both Lake Fest and then Plein Air event. That all adds up to $4,008.66. Do I have a motion to approve claims as presented?
Don't move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please indicate aye. All right.
What?
Claims are
Didn't mean to
approved.
rush you.
Yeah, no. All right. So we got through claims. And the May financial report, I think I already gave you the the bottom, no, I didn't give you the bottom line, right? We got 426,319.17 in the bank account. Across the two tips. I said we started the year with 194,213 in discretionary spending. We've done 48,000 of that through the facade grants. I'm not, I haven't tracked. I didn't think about what other discretionary spending we've done. I probably should have looked at that. Just to make sure I'm. We've got 11,688 in the visitor center. And that was on 2,500 for the Howard property easement.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still liquid. Any questions, discussion on the May financials?
No.
All right, then we can move on to old business. Let's do Dunes update. This shouldn't take long. We had a town council review and approval of the Dunes last evening. It was a split vote, but the project was essentially approved. There were a couple of aspects to it, site plan and also the agreement to accept the turnover of the roads and infrastructure once it was in place.
And
The closing, I'm sorry, Sally, did you have?
yeah, no,
Closing of the bonds is, I believe, scheduled for July 30th. That's my update. Is there any questions or discussion? Anything from the audience here on it? Made my wife a TV star.
and I missed that.
You can find her on the website. Yeah. The first thing she did when she went to walk the dog this morning is some neighbor going by. Hey, you're a star. All right. And we did approval of claims. We did the new business. So now it's public input time. Member input.
We bunched tonight.
Yeah. They are, but we have to allow them in.
I don't have anything.
I don't either.
The only thing that's on my mind, and we touched on it just briefly last month, was the Main Street support.
Yeah.
And Ginny is kind of it's near and dear to her heart. So I don't want to really have the discussion without her here, but what I do want to say is that I did meet with several members of the Main Street businesses. And when I'm saying Main Street, I'm talking the like 3-block stretch, actual Main Street. I'm not talking about uptown, what I call uptown, at least. And they clearly need support, in my mind. I've spoken to the Main Street organization, which is got not an identical, but a close to identical board to the visitor center. Tracy Fox is the head of that board, but nobody from Main Street itself is actually on that board, right? None of the retailers themselves is on that board. And Tracy is not only aware of that, she's encouraging that maybe a reset of that board is in order at this point, as well as a reset of the plan, for the organization.
Right.
Which I think is tremendously encouraging, and I think we've got a role to play in. I know from discussions on the Community Foundation Board, and Kevin's aware of this as well, that there is some opportunity that's likely to come down the pike, or we're hoping will come down the pike with the planning grant results, right, for housing. And there may be some regional as well as county level support. Now, I don't know how much, but would apply to Main Street, it would be support for, it's basically kind of an idea, land bank idea that allows organizations to more efficiently acquire property and rehab it and send it back, right, improve it and turn it back. Or to support organizations that do that. And I would like to think that a strategy for our Main Street is where we would start. You know, we would have some expertise brought in to look at where we're at, establish some goals, long-term, right? There's some short-term stuff we need to do for sure, but establish a broader context. And so we know where, you know, where the end zone is, you know, to move toward. And then maybe some of these tools will be coming online about the same time that we've got this, you know, this vision, shared vision, you know, developed and reviewed and everybody on board with, and what our role would be relative to that. So I just want to kind of throw that out there to set, you know, some context for those discussions. I think maybe some sort of work session might be the next step. Tracy has put together a document and sent it to me for review. I had initially, from my meeting with Kevin Dante, was actually helped organize the meeting. Kevin Dante and Susie Mahler put the meeting together and graciously invited me to attend. But I did take some notes from that meeting, and I want to work those notes into what Tracy did and get it back to Tracy. And when we both are of the same mind, then I think it's time to share it more broadly and bring some people around the table and start a work session. Any thoughts, any comments on any of that?
I would say, yeah. We need to encourage some, you know, business adventures into some of the empty buildings that we have. How we go about that, I'm not 100% sure. I'm in favor of the businesses, any of the owners that are willing and able to join in on the conversation. I think that would be advisable as board members on the
Right.
Main Street or whatever.
What's clear,
I think that a lot of them felt that they didn't have the time to actually be a part of that at one point. And that still may be true.
what occurred to me is that a year ago was different because there was still hope that the chamber might revive itself and that they would have the ability to be the voice of that, you know, business owners group. And they don't have that avenue any longer because the chamber is essentially non-operative. So they've got no outlet, right? They got nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
Anymore. So I think the timing's right. I think it's a good time to try to do something.
I like the idea of creating shared goals or a shared vision that's mutually beneficial for consumers and business owners. We have an idea of who to target in that sense of what's needed or what's desired and how we can bridge that.
Yeah, and if we get that right, then by the time, we figure what that is and then how to get them, right? And then actually getting those businesses attracted.
Streamline that is.
Hopefully we'll have some houses built on the south end of town with people in it that would be able to, I think timing wise, this kind of makes sense to, to work on the spade work now. Okay. Any thoughts from you guys are experts.
There's still a downtown merchants association, because there was.
I don't, yeah,
It used to be set up as a subsection of the chamber, and because they felt like their needs were different, they were kind of meeting separately and then could advocate for what they wanted to the chamber, would take it otherwise. So
I know that Kevin had to be at another meeting tonight, but he's been contacting the individual businesses and talking to them over the last, month or so. On different issues. And he might know whether they have a actual.
I think that would be part of the solution for them, because downtowns to be successful have to act like malls. They have to work together, they have to set similar hours, they have to do all the things together. So you're gonna have a hard time helping them if they're not stepping up to help themselves at all.
Yeah. Well, there were 6 or 7 of them around the table when Kevin and I sat down with them, and I,
So that's half of
Yeah.
the blocks you're talking about.
yeah,
Start, but they really need to kind of get their stuff together too, so.
yeah,
I think that's sort of obvious a couple of years ago. Sort of a pain in the neck trying to get the string of lights on the facade lit.
Yeah.
And it was like a moving target. Like, how do we do this? Well, whose building is it? Cafe Max, or the preacher. He said, that's a sensitive issue. Let me deal with it. So there's this infighting that was going on.
yeah,
There's pushback between town council and merchants. I didn't get into it, but you guys can't. The common goal here.
yeah, right, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
The other thing to consider, Marty, with the grant opportunities is, I don't think all of the downtown buildings have occupied second floors. And there's the potential for apartments in some of them do, but I'm not sure any of them are rentals anymore on the west side of the main park down there. I think Susie's got hers as a B&B type of setup, but as far as apartments and stuff, I don't think those are being used. I think some of them are being used on the other side, but there's potential there that kind of ties into housing that where those funds are available. Now, can they be competitive with what's going on further south? I don't know.
Yeah,
But it becomes
yeah.
that issue.
thank you. Okay, so anything else?
No, it's just been a constant issue. And they're so independent, they want to do things on their own terms, and that's not how you're successful as a downtown. You've got to work together. The whole thing about they're all closed on Friday night because they want to go home. Okay, Friday nights when Lucretia's has a draw downtown and there's people standing in line and walking up and down the sidewalk.
Yeah,
Sorry, if you're
right,
in
yeah,
business, that's when you should be open.
yeah, well,
It's some of those self-defeating things that are hard for anybody from the outside to change, because I've been there through the chamber trying to change.
yeah,
I-
I flunked retail, so I don't know. What.
Well, I know when
What would be,
when we were in business years back in the 60s and 70s, I think it stopped around the 70s, but they used to be open every Friday night. All the businesses downtown. I'm not sure that the tin shop was open because people don't rush in and buy specially made tin for their AC, and
Not even walking out of the corner tavern.
they might, I don't
That's
know.
not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I don't want to have the work session now. I just wanted to say, get feedback on the idea of it, and I appreciate all the input, all the feedback. Thank you.
Can I offer one more thing on those
Sure.
lines? You might want to keep an eye on what the plan commission is doing and it's changed, because right now the whole section from what you're calling the downtown all the way down to Odoms is zone C2 commercial. But they just let property last year, they let property that belonged to the Easter Day dentist office switch to residential. Well, now you've got a residential in the middle of that. That's kind of the prime area for any expansion or for in-house commercial and those kind of things along that segment through there. I think some of them, Don Fox in particular, would like to see some more flexible zoning in that. Some of the others are kind of dead set against, this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
think that's part of that transitional thing. Again, if the Dune takes off, you've got more people, there should be a call for more commercial. And do we have that there? If you look online, there's no commercial space for sale. You know,
Yeah,
that
there-
at a price that
right.
you can buy. So
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, clearly the zoning review is going to be a part of it. Yeah.
very much so.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. All right. Great ideas. I'm really glad I brought that up. Okay. Well, so that's it for member input. Gary, you got anything for us? All right.
she had a little input a minute ago,
Yeah,
but she's
she did.
settled
So
down.
cute. All right. With that, then we've exhausted our agenda items, and
I'll make a motion to adjourn if that's what you want. Sign claims.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.